ancestors came here illegally. Wasn't nothing legal about your ancestors.
Listen.
They came illegally and they murdered, they raped, they pillaged a whole race of people. This country, Texas, Arizona, and California, belonged to the Mexicans.
Cornell, get back
it was
to the
stole
point.
from them.
You
so
tell
when
me
you
to
quote
get back
your
to the point.
ancestors, they came here illegally.
You're not being fair to me here. You say stay on topic.
It's about tribal warfare. Okay. That's where we're at in the U.S. I don't know where you're at in the UK. You're from India, so I don't really.
I'm not from India.
Oh, sorry, your parents are from India, so
I'm an American
you
citizen.
have your own states.
I'm an American, you know.
You're an American citizen?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. I don't know how you got that, but fair enough. Here's the thing.
Are you an American citizen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Not sure how you got that. Okay.
Born here.
Okay.
Born here, and my family lineage is settlers from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the claim here. Okay.
But you're
a little different.
But you're
than
a
yours.
descendant of immigrants, settlers,
I didn't know.
colonialists.
Yeah,
You
colonials.
don't look very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites are Native Americans. What are you
Sorry,
talking about?
you're not.
What are you talking about?
You're
Whites
not.
are Native Americans.
Really?
I think
What was happening before the 1500s?
I think you're getting confused with it.
I don't mind going on a tangent, but what was happening before the 1500s?
Calm down. I think you're getting.
What was happening before the 1500s?
There was indigenous people here that came here from
Do you know
Asia.
what indigenous means?
Listen, before
Indigenous
America,
people can't come from somewhere else.
Why do you ask a question if you're going to interrupt?
I'm not sure if you know what the meaning of indigenous means.
I do know what it means. It
Doesn't
means
sound
they
like it.
came here first, right? They came here from Asia by way of land bridge. Have an argument with Neil deGrasse Tyson or anybody else about that. I don't care.
Is he an American?
I genuinely don't care. Yes, he is.
Okay, just checking.
My point is, okay?
Nothing to do with crime. So far, you've agreed with me that these people
Because
are
you're
criminals.
derailing, dude. I'm trying
You
to stay on
literally
track.
sat down and asked me where I'm from. I think you derailed this conversation from the get-go.
By that, but I'm because
I'm
I'm
not
always
offended. I'm
curious,
just wondering what it
because
has to do with
I'm
crime.
always curious.
We're going to talk about
why-
immigration. Don't worry. Later on, you can come back.
I hope so.
Right now, you're doing a very bad job of making the case that he's not pro-crime
I just
and
got a
pro-criminal.
round of applause. I could probably get another one actually if I asked for it.
Wow.
So I don't think I'm doing
Is this how
as
you
bad.
get rounds of applause? You sit in a room with 20 people who agree with you. Wow, amazing. Amazing. That
Well,
must
wait
make you
till
feel.
Why do you think when you tell a white person that America is not their home or it's not their original homeland and they are not the owners of that land, they feel like they are offended and they feel very upset? It is because the truth is bitter. The history was hidden and many people do not want to open the history because they know that the history will actually reveal a lot of things. And that is why many a times a white person or a white man is not ready to allow a black person or to allow any other person to get his hands on the truth because they know the truth carries a lot of things and they are not ready for that truth. The truth that is bitter. That is why when you stand before a white person or stand before white people and tell them that America is not actually your home or your original home, you're not the indigenous people of this land, they get very angry because the truth is actually bitter. Now, this black man stood up boldly and he spoke to them and he told them they are immigrants in America. They are not the indigenous people of America. But the response was very harsh. I want you to listen to these videos and watch these videos because the responses that came out were very bitter responses, showing clearly that whatever this man was talking about or whatever this man was saying is actually nothing but the truth because it would be a lie. You know, many a times when somebody says something or when somebody comes out and speaks something maybe or accuse you of doing something and you know very well whatever I'm being accused of, it is not true, is a lie. Many a times you tend to actually not defend yourself. But when you see people really defending themselves so much and trying to argue and trying to get angry whenever somebody says something to, concerning them, that is actually the truth. But because they don't want that truth to come out and they do not want people to understand and to know the truth because they know they've been lying to people for many years, they feel very offended and very frustrated. You know, sometimes I've been asking myself, what if one day we come to realize that the black people have been oppressed in America and they've gone through difficult times and difficult moments in the hands of white Americans, and then one day we come to realize that America was not even the land of the white people. They are calling the black people the immigrants, and they want the immigrants of America, the black people, to get out of America, okay? Of course, we personally, we want the black people to come back to Africa because they were taken from Africa, yeah? Because they were taken from Africa to America to go there, okay? And them coming back home, it is their right for them to come back home. But do you have to oppress people, and you're oppressing people in the land that does not even belong to you? That is the question that I've been asking for many times. That one time you will come to realize even the Americans themselves, they are not the indigenous people of that land. We know them, how they do things and how they behave when it comes to certain things, okay? And therefore, these are questions that I've been asking myself so much. Now, I want you to take a look at these videos. Look at how they respond to this man, and then, or to what these sentiments, or to these sentiments from this black man. And then I'll come back and have my thoughts shared with you on the comment section. As you're watching it, also prepare your thoughts and let me have them, let me read them on the comment section, and then I'll see what I'll do. Until then, let's take a look at the video.
Country of immigrants. See,
no, we're not. No.
This video is solely to spread awareness on the United States and the expression nation of immigrants.
We're a country of settlers, not of immigrants.
Okay.
Please watch the full video to understand the concept of country of immigrants, because it seems Americans seem to forget.
That's a big distinction. Let me tell you the difference. Settlers are people that build a new country that was barren. Immigrants come to a country already built.
We are, one and all, immigrants, or the sons and daughters.
We are the descendants of 40 million people who left other countries to make a new opportunity for themselves and their children.
The lamp of this grand old lady is brighter today, and the golden door that she guards gleams more brilliantly in the light of an increased liberty for the people from all countries.
I'm convinced that the vast majority of Americans today want these people to have another opportunity.
I was in a party that welcomed generations of immigrants.
If we ever closed the door to new Americans, our leadership in the world would soon be lost.
Immigration is not just a link to America's past. It's also a bridge to America's future.
This is one country. We like our diversity. We are proud of it.
Amid all the complications of policy, may we never forget that immigration is a blessing and a strength.
These people, our neighbors, our classmates, our friends, they did not come here in search of a free ride or an easy life. They came to work.
We don't demonize immigrants. We don't single them out for attacks. We don't believe they're poisoning the blood of the country. We're a nation of immigrants, and that's why we're so damn strong.
I think this is a fantastic law. It is time to start enforcing the laws that are on the books instead of the state and local officials legislating from their own little tiny offices.
It's an awful law because it's nothing more than a legal way for law enforcement to racially profile Mexicans and Hispanics. I would say to the Hispanic and Mexican community, what you got to do now, hook up with the black community and unite in political power, because if Mexicans and black people unite in Texas, we can control the governor, we can control the lieutenant governor, and we can control politics in Texas, period. I'm saying to the Latino brothers and sisters, don't fight them by yourself. If you hook up with black people and we unite, I'm telling you, we can run Texas and then pass laws to deal with those who hate us.
You're advocating for criminal activity, Colonial. These people are not here lawfully. They need to do what our ancestors did, what many Mexicans have done.
Well, no, wait a minute.
Many, don't interrupt me.
Your ancestors came here illegally. Wasn't nothing legal about your ancestors.
Listen.
They came illegally and they murdered, they raped, they pillaged a whole race of people. This country, Texas, Arizona, and California, belongs to the Mexicans.
Now, get back
it was
to the
stole from them.
You
so
tell
when
me
you
to get back to the point.
They came here illegally.
You're not being fair to me here. You say stay on topic. I say, okay, we'll stay on topic. And then as soon as we start talking about illegal immigration, you go back to the black issue. Let's stay on topic.
Your ancestors are the master illegal immigrants.
Give me the opportunity to respond in that, you know what? We're all Americans here. And if you are here legally, absolutely, then we need to come together and we need to pass good laws for enforcing the laws.
Well, perhaps the Native Americans should have passed laws against your ancestors.
Can we normalize calling Americans European Americans? I'm recruiting everybody in the world. Everybody who is not American, let's call them European Americans. Black Americans, get in on this. European Americans. And if you white, call yourself European American. Because there's no way we out here calling African Americans. That don't make no goddamn sense. If there's African Americans, then there's European Americans. Because I don't know how we keep forgetting, particularly European Americans, that the original Americans are Indians, not even Indians, incorrectly called Indians, Native Americans. The originals, it's in the name, Native Americans. So the real Americans should be the Native Americans. Then we have the colonizers, aka the European Americans. Then we have African Americans. If we have to use African Americans, then we shall use European Americans.
We were all once strangers. If you weren't a stranger, your grandparents were strangers. Your great-grandparents were strangers. They didn't all have their papers ready. They fumbled with language, faced discrimination, had cultural norms that didn't fit. At some point, somewhere, your family was an outsider. And so the mothers, the fathers, the children we see today, they're us. And we can't forsake them. So as Americans and Canadians, we will continue to welcome refugees. And we can ensure that we're doing so in a way that maintains our security.
Dear Americans, you are not expats here in Europe. You are immigrants. Yeah, when you leave the America to come to live in our countries, for example, in my home country, Portugal, and you come here to brag how cheap it is, you should all come here, when in fact it's not cheap for Portuguese people. You are not an expat. You are not a digital nomad. You are an immigrant. Just like Mexican people in your country. The difference is Mexican people actually learn your language, for example. While you are here, you live, for example, in Portugal or in Spain for like 3 years and you barely know how to say thank you in our languages. Also, Mexican people in your country have jobs that actually contribute for the country they are currently living in, so in your country, United States. While you, no, because you still work to your own country. So yeah, start respecting immigrants in your country because you also are an immigrant in our countries.
What's fact is that black people in the United States don't have the caucasity to define crime for everybody else while excluding themselves. What's fact is that European Americans have committed a vastly disproportionate amount of crime against humanity in the United States. European Americans have unalived and SA'd people of the global majority by the millions. European Americans have destroyed communities created by people of the global majority in the United States by the thousands. And until that truth is acknowledged and reconciled, there will be no excuses.
When did Irish people become white in America?
Go for it, John. When did the Irish become white? And how long have you been white, John?
As a recently visibly white guy, it's a complicated history. W.E.B. Du Bois made a famous statement about the condition of blacks in America in 1890, early 1920s, and indicated they were the poorest in all of America, except for the Irish immigrants, who were the poorest. And they were called Black Irish, and were despised by all the other immigrants who had already come in there, except the blacks at the time. And the Irish were able to scrape by on the generosity of the black people. Once their economic condition surpassed that, they no longer used that phrase and became white.
There have been numerous instances of groups becoming white in the United States. The Italians, Jews, Eastern Europeans as well. But there's been a hard barrier for black people, and this is what I think gets to anti-blackness specifically as a barrier that people can't cross. Black people don't get to become white in the United States, but lots of other people will get to become white, or white presenting, to use the old South African terminology, honorary white, even if you're not actually white, except for black people.
I remember a debate between James Baldwin and William Buckley in London. Because Buckley's argument was, okay, you blacks, if you just do what other people had done, you will be thriving economically and politically speaking. And Baldwin says, okay, well, actually, that is possible if we manage to change the color of our skin. Because of the color of our skin, you don't let us vote. You don't let us live in the neighborhood where we wanted to live, etc., etc. Yep. So this is a way to say that, of course, passing is possible for a certain number of groups, but it is not something that is available to the majority of black people in the United States, and that is the case still today.
If you haven't heard the term European American, you gotta watch this video. In some of my recent posts, I've been seeing this comment of like European American to describe like Americans that are European descent, like for example, similar to Mexican American, Asian American, African American, right? European American. Why don't people that are American of European descent call themselves European American? It's interesting, right? I don't know if I agree or not, but it just makes you think like it should be that way if it's fair. I guess it's just interesting that we feel the need to differentiate minorities, right? So for example, when Italians came over, like, oh, they're Italian American. When the Irish came over, oh, they're Irish American. Now, once they've been here for a few generations, they've been assimilated into society, they just become Americans. But also they're white. So it's a totally different dynamic. People that are of color go through a completely different experience. And I think in today's world, that's what these words are used for. They're used to say like, oh, no, they're not American, they're Mexican American. It's like, oh, no, they're African American. Because the reality is that the only true Americans are the Native Americans. They were the OGs, the people that were here before everybody else. And then Europeans came and conquered. So it's just something to think about. What do you guys think?
I just had a thought. How come people who do not come from this turtle island are called something American? Like, I'm Native American. Someone who is a person of color is African American. Or someone from Mexico is Mexican American. And someone from Canada is Canadian American. I don't know. Or like someone from Asia, Asian American, Chinese American. But what about the YT people? Why aren't they called the Euro Americans? Why aren't they called the Euro Americans? Why are they just called Americans? Why do they call themselves just Americans? I am indigenous. I am Nehewa. I'm not American. I'm Nehewa. I'm Anishinaabe, and my people were here before millennia, before colony.
Right now, a lot of us understand and we know the character and the behavior of the white people, their approach towards things and how they do things, how they make decisions, and how their perspective towards many things are. And we have known the white Americans as people who love violence all the times, despite trying to put themselves in positions where they do not associate themselves with violence. They live in a way that you can't associate themselves with violence, because they call the black people uncivilized, they call the black people illiterate, they call them like disorganized and all those kind of names. That is how they refer to the black people, because they've always lived knowing the black people are people who, and you know, it's not about them living knowing, pretending, because that is what they want and that is how they want the black community to look at themselves. It is like a way of brainwashing people or making them look at themselves as bad people because they want to rule over them. You know, it is easy for you to rule someone after you've made them not to believe in themselves, or you've made them look at themselves as useless kind of people, or people who are not do not have potential or they are disabled. So it becomes very easy for you to rule that person or to manipulate that person, because when somebody finally realizes or finally understands I am good for nothing, it becomes very easy for them to actually feel weak. When they feel weak, you can easily manipulate them and do whatever the things you want to do to them, because they feel like, you know, we are very weak, we can't do anything. And that is how the white Americans have been doing all the times. They understand the potential of the black people. They know the potential of the black people. They even know without the black people they cannot survive, but they do not want the black people themselves to know that white Americans cannot survive without us. But fortunately, we came to realize and we came to know that the white Americans need black Americans so much that to some point they cannot even survive without the black Americans. And now my question, what I'm really concerned about is that how did Americans acquire the land? How did they become the real owners of the land? Okay, because a long time ago there were no the white people, the Americans in America. The white people came to America with violence and they took the land by force, or they grabbed it, just like they came to Africa and claimed that, and like divided Africa in many parts during the Berlin Conference, when the Europeans and the British and many empires, they came to Africa. They went to, in the years of 1884, they organized the Berlin Conference, and then they decided on how they are going to divide Africa like a piece of bread in slices. I will take this part, I will take this part. Is it how they did also to the land of America and took America? They came to Africa with guns and with all the weapons, and they showed us the weapons. They instilled fear at the people of Africa. If they wanted to take Africa, they would have taken Africa. And even today, the children who are growing and the generation that is growing would understand that Africa is a land that belongs to the white people. If not, were the black people who fought for the independence of Africa, Africa today would still be under the hands of the white people. And maybe even today, they would be referring to Africa as their land, okay? Because I'm hearing about the Red Indians and I don't know which other people who used to live in the land where America is. Like, who drew the border of America? Who said now this is America, the land of the white Americans who are supposed to be living here? Okay? Because we don't know how they acquired America, how they became the real owners, the indigenous people of America. That is the question that we have always been asking ourselves, because we know Americans are people, are like people who love, know, and only understand the language of violence. They cause violence all over, everywhere. That is where they cause violence, like everywhere in the world. They are not the civilized people. They call the black people uncivilized, yet they themselves, they are not civilized, okay? They are telling that the black people are not the people who follow rules and they do not follow the law and all that. Yet the same law that they are putting in, or the law they are using, is a law that discriminates. It's a law that oppresses a black person. Is a law that really made a black person look like person as like someone who is not important or crucial. Somebody who isn't of any impact, who is not supposed to be treated well and all that. Yet they say the black people not follow the law. Which kind of a law that you want the black people to follow? And it really gives me chills when somebody who is a black person comes out and speaks the truth, telling them the truth. The fact that they are bitter and upset when somebody says you are not the real people of America shows us and tells us clearly that America even might not even the real land to the white Americans who claim that America belongs to them. I don't know what you have to say in the comment section about this. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I'll do my best to make sure I read the comments and give a response where possible. I am your presenter, the African Streamline, and I'm going to ask you to subscribe this channel. If maybe you're watching me for the first time, consider subscribing. That notification bell, press it. Be the first person to get every episode as it comes in. I tell you, every day Africa is home, and anything that concerns Africa concerns me and you as a black people. Until next time, peace be with you